Stillness isn't the absence of thought. It's the space where thought sharpens. Most people can't stand silence. They rush to fill it with sound, explanation, distraction, anything to avoid confronting what might emerge when noise stops. But the Sigma INFJ moves differently. They don't fear stillness. They function in it. While others perform clarity for applause, the Sigma INFJ retreats into stillness to become clear. They process before they pronounce. And in a world addicted to immediacy, the delay feels like power withheld. It is. Because stillness is not passivity. It's strategy. Part 1: Reactive Cultures vs. Reflective Beings. Most people operate on reaction loops. Something happens, they respond. Someone speaks, they answer. Their minds are trained to perform aliveness through responsiveness. But Sigma INFJs reject that script. They don't see fast reactions as signs of intelligence. They see them as signs of programming, social reflexes disguised as opinions, emotional flinches masquerading as depth. Stillness breaks that loop. It's a filter, a shield, a cognitive audit of incoming data. The Sigma INFJ doesn't interrupt moments with conclusions. They let the full situation breathe before interpreting it. That's not hesitation. That's intellectual discipline. In stillness, they detect the things others miss. Micro-motives buried beneath surface statements. Hidden loops of self-interest. The real question behind the question. The silent variables that change everything. Others want answers. Sigma INFJs want accuracy. And that's why they wait. Part 2: Quiet is a control mechanism. Most assume silence is surrender. That if someone doesn't speak, they've lost control of the narrative. But the Sigma INFJ doesn't play the narrative game. They control it by withdrawing energy from it entirely. In rooms where people dominate with volume, they dominate with calm. In arguments built to provoke, they become a black hole, absorbing chaos and giving back nothing. This unsettles people. Because most power displays are loud, obvious, territorial. The Sigma INFJ's power is the opposite. It's the refusal to defend what doesn't need defense. The choice to interpret rather than retaliate. The strength to remain unmoved until movement serves purpose. Stillness is not disengagement. It's a positioning move. While others waste energy trying to win the moment, the Sigma INFJ is anchoring themselves to the long game. And in the long game, emotional composure always outlasts performative dominance. Part 3: Observers don't reveal early. There's a reason Sigma INFJs rarely speak first. When they enter a room, their mind doesn't ask, "What should I say?" It asks, "What's already being said that no one's hearing?" They pick up power dynamics, unspoken resentments, shifts in mood that predict behavior. Who's actually in control, regardless of title? Stillness gives them access to this intelligence. Premature speech would kill it. Because the second you speak, you shift the environment. You start to influence instead of read. Sigma INFJs know this. So they delay their presence, even in conversations. They wait until they've mapped the terrain, and only then do they speak with precision. This delay is often misread as insecurity or aloofness. But what it really is patience. They know that information reveals itself to the still. Part 4: The language of energy. Sigma INFJs don't just interpret words. They track energy. The tension behind a smile. The exhaustion behind confidence. The aggression disguised as logic. These are not things you can see if you're constantly reacting. You have to listen beyond words, and stillness makes that possible. While someone is talking, a Sigma INFJ is already noticing the mismatch between tone and body language, the places where someone's story skips, the energetic inconsistencies in what they claim and how they feel. And that's why they often don't reply right away. They're not being difficult. They're translating energy into meaning. Others jump to respond based on content. The Sigma INFJ waits to verify the intent behind it. That's what makes their reply so piercing, so final, so hard to argue with. They don't respond to the performance. They respond to the pattern behind it. Part 5: Emotional Regulation as a Quiet Rebellion. The modern world rewards urgency. Act fast. React faster. Post first. Clarify later. But Sigma INFJs are slow by choice. Not because they're unsure, but because they refuse to let the external world dictate their internal pace. This isn't about calmness for show. It's about sovereignty. They regulate emotions like a surgeon, clean, steady, unsentimental when necessary. Not because they're detached, but because they know that unfiltered emotion often clouds precision. So they slow everything down. If someone insults them, they don't react. They assess the source, the intent, the threat level. If it's not worth energy, they don't feed it. That restraint infuriates people, because most people expect emotional choreography. If you care, you'll react. If you don't, you're cold. But the Sigma INFJ doesn't care about appearing warm. They care about remaining clear. And sometimes, the clearest response is none at all. Part 6: Boundaries Built in Silence. Stillness isn't just a tool for observation. It's a boundary. Sigma INFJs don't always declare what they think. They don't always explain their choices. And they don't ask for permission to opt out of noise. This creates a gap. People want to know what's going on behind their silence. They want to be told where they stand. But the Sigma INFJ doesn't owe clarity to chaos. They provide understanding only to those who can handle complexity. Stillness, for them, becomes a sorting mechanism. If someone can't handle not being the center of attention, interprets silence as judgment, or requires constant emotional reassurance, they won't last long around a Sigma INFJ. Because nothing about their stillness is accidental. It's protection. It's screening. It's exit strategy in slow motion. By the time you realize they're gone, they've been gone for a while. Conclusion: the still point that sees all. Stillness is not stagnation. It's strategy. It's synthesis. It's depth refusing to dilute itself for speed. The Sigma INFJ don't just sit quietly. They gather. They calculate. They observe every corner of a moment until it stops being vague and starts being useful. And when they finally move, when they finally speak, they don't guess. They strike. Not out of anger. Not out of impulse. But with the full force of a mind that's been watching everything. In silence. Because that's the wisdom of stillness. It doesn't ask to be understood. It simply outlasts the noise.